On a track when you have management present all the way. It gives you a homely feeling, it gives you a sense of support, and say thank you for standing by us. You were one of the first people to embrace the karting season in UG. And we pledge to stand with Merakai all the way and take racing to another level. Would like to know that somewhere one of the facilities that promotes karting in UG has gone out of their way to support this sport. They have gone international. Together, we are going to take the discipline of karting to another level. I see very many racers here who we wish you the best. Sitting in a high-grade F1 car. That day I will use all my salary to go and watch that race. I know there are very many packages that we are trying to design to try and make sure we reward the parents. For sure, it will be, just imagine one day, all of you on the grandstand supporting me. Oh, thank God. I don't know why we are thanking God. We would like to welcome some of our supporters from the ruling government. Thank you for standing with us. I know that the current government we serve is intent on supporting sport. So we will harness, we will take advantage of the many available opportunities to see that we develop. Check on Google. And then Google tells you a frog is an animal which lives in a tree. You also write there, animal which lives in a tree. So parents who help us with our homework when we are doing, parents who help us with our homework by consulting Google, will also go. Yes, we have exactly 1 hour, 44 minutes and 46 seconds to Bahrain. That's the Formula 1 Gulf Air Bahrain Grand Prix. If you want to watch, come with your friends, come with your peers, come with your family. We have several locations where we do race viewing. Merakai. Even in the one-stop condition, you have to do this. Should we race? Yeah, let's go racing, let's go racing. Other drivers are being cautious, Louis is saying, no, let's go racing, the conditions are good. My lion king. Yeah? Simba. What do you think? What do you think? Can we go racing? If you know how to drive, Team Simba says yes, it's time to go. Sasa wewe. We wait a bit. We say before. Back here, team manager. Do we go racing or do we try out the track a little bit more? Okay, everything is that's 75. So let's send out our mechanics who have had that higher, yeah? Now, when we see those spins, remember, as you selected, please arrive. We are trying to take advantage of the window in the weather to try and get something happening. Please, this is a replica of Canada. Though some people were sleeping, they told him, cut. Listen, this is what we have to say. Go out there, race. Safety first. But regardless of all that we say, a good show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is karting event number 1. This is the season opener. This is the moment all have been waiting for. Racers, give us a good song. Tell your friends who are out there today, it's Captain 1, but you can also race normally. So do not ask people to stay away. Everyone will have a mutual relationship that sees to it that everyone's okay. So if your friends are out there, you want to come and do a normal Saturday afternoon racing at Mero. And if you thought, chance play. This what we've all been waiting for. Yeah! DJ, I like the way you put it. Yes! The moment! All before we have got our racers on track. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 25. And this happens here at Tavera. That was formation. Now we find no checks. Watch the lights. We are all stoked. This is where it's not all about speed. It's about caution. It's about strategy. It's about and we are trying to get a qualified pass. Hey, it's about speed and power. Boom! Hey, we are testing whether you have the skill. It's all about skill. Fast. At any point we see that it is not safe, we will stop the race. But for now, we say thank you for coming out on this day. We have a team of safety officials who are analyzing to see how safe it is for the driver. At the moment, they think that it is not safe, we shall stop. But for it was worse than this. Good. Any ideas on how these guys can take this race? These are guys who have pushed N14 through mud, they have driven rock cut through mud, and for them they are saying, hey, this one we can go, we can go, we can go. But I am seeing people shaking their heads and miracle. Tell your friends, tell your Right yourself, because you are going to fail on the track. Batch number 2, prepare for qualifiers. Yeah. We call middies. It's what we call rigs. Batch number 2, because I am sure that when this lot is done, they would want to have something chap. This is something we have done over and over again. Batch 2, wherever you are, batch 2, usonge mbele. Batch 2, usonge mbele. I am sure you have seen, you have learned some critical lessons from batch 1, so you know how to take the corners. Welcome to Merabili. 10 minutes and we had a winner. But for here, batch 2 of drivers, are we there? Now we are gonna, Can I give you the times? Are these final? Are these final? Hey, you wait, I'm going to tell you. But please don't all. Okay, let me first walk away here, then I'll come and inform you when we have finals. Yes? Drivers, lot 2, please. Drivers, lot 2, please advance to the garage. We appreciate the fact that you are bearing with us. You scream, you start. Remember, we are racing to the checkered flag. You speed. We are racing. We are racing. We are racing. Auto and take off. Actions on how to overtake. This is your what is giving to me? And the driver is here. Team Mama is patented. Ladies and gentlemen, and we are in pro. Are we? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the best, and then we shall be advancing. But for now, we have in the lead.
Right, a very good evening and welcome aboard to the Podium show every single Monday from 10 p.m. to midnight. We preview and review in the world of motorsport. Local scene, African scene, as well as on the international scene on this 21st day of July 2025. Well, hoping that everything has shifted away from the last time. Dr. Sheno, as usual, to Gamba, opposite of Honda. Now, from Kevin Value TV. Of course, to live using the familiar app to Sokwanga, downloading and Play Store and App Store. Of course, no credit, but you want to for farmer. Apple, because also Fafa TV, no police on wherever you are across the entire world. So, testimony to that is including Javere, he said the every single Monday, as well as the subsequent programs as well Fafa TV, as well as 1.1 for farmer. Can you program in ENOCH OLINGA? Then KYALUZI, a karting coach, ENOCH in different capacities, COC, competitor, official, whatever you usually kind ginger walking out of the show. But
era ndi musanyufu okubeera ku show olwaleero ewalinnyira kumpita nsaba okubuuza abatulaba n'abatuwuliriza kansuubire gye muli bulungi olunaku lwabagendedde bulungi ebyaganye ebyasobeza tusabe mukama abakwatireko tweyongere okubeera n'obulamu obutali bubi nnyo obuli fair.
Okay, I was a witness as Namungo Blazers never hence OLINGA Blazers were but Coilers came, they were always there, but finally in the last quarter that's when they lost it. In fact, even they led even for the first time in that game in the fourth quarter. From the first quarter, the third to the body of seeing up until the fourth quarter. Till the end of the quarter, leading a cow 60-60, then finally they lost that game. But but it's an exodus of players from Oilers, Ivan Muwezi, very many players from Oilers to Blazers. Okay, let's watch the regular season as it unfolds, but of course Blazers are destined to be the regular.
Kakati, what's a deal?
Ivan Muwezi working again.
Abawuliza n'abalabi bafufa media group sanyusa okukomawo ku show kesho webale kunkyaza nate era
tukusaba buswabe bakufuka kuti kukisawe nga
tukukaba yeah ndi musanyufu nnyo okubeera ku show on this good Monday. We are going to digest a number of things. Ibrahim, KYALUZI, nze ndi ku show today ne Kesh wamu ne Enoch. Union Properties International jenfubutuka nkwasaganya ebintu bingi, clerk of the course in karting, steward, coach, coaching, karting, technician, and then race official in formula racing from 4 to 1.
So Tina from right from the horse's mouth. Ne akasati ko. Akasati ko tukoze tia. Kote sauti.
Twaki sauti is a day.
Ate biganira yake iso. Ne ili mu control room ya gande. Nange wa modulator.
Akati the modulator wende tumanyi jogwa. Ile kufunga na hiyo.
Yanjo kwa McLaren ne mama. Can we get a break here, then we get back and pick it up from there. Stance in terms of motorsport, Enoch has been there. Name event ya Sembayo, we had an issue na tuyambaka over tulabira ddala. Bali aleta busejinja na finally chetabuka we handled and Ibra fresh from Dubai. So the kwanga tugata kola ko right. Okay. We kick it off with what has been, there's a lot of news making rounds in the world of sport. Of course, apart aside from the basketball prior to the break, but our government even boxing over the weekend. There was that big bout between Usyk but to me, what gave him in the fifth round, which was the second round, second time we were meeting. The guy has not lost a bout. I think 24 matches, by the way. It was his 14th KO. Now, to me, what made news is guy making 138, I think, $0.25 million in just a flash. That is what sport can really do. But to be rating a motorsport was F1 was single collar sentence. It's a lot of money. Then what's been lots of things making news is South Africa weekend event, which is the third national rally championship on the calendar.
Yes.
But Seth Gomez is going to test the waters for the first time international. Producer I don't know what's your take on that guy. That is a guy boy.
Well, he's still a boy because he's only, I think, 16 or 17 years old. Yeah, and I have a lot of conversations with the mom, who are really good friends.
Who is even going to be who's going to co-drive?
Yes,
exactly. He's going to call the notes.
Going to call the notes and the you know. So, but we tugambira anti talent eba talent. Omwana avuga.
Yeah.
Omwana avuga. If we look at the results from the last, I think it was either round 2 or round 3 of the Zambia National League Championship. Yes,
the one in memory of Muna Singh.
Yes, either the one in memory of Muna Singh or the one after that. I think I can't remember very clearly, but yasobola okuba wamula bonna including his dad.
Yeah.
Atenga nedda kakati muzeeyi kyaliko muzeeyi alina okuyawo omubiri waki kuba if the boy is going to improve and be as good at the game right now is a point where you actually have to push him you know, so that he learns how to handle pressure.
Yeah, that is safe. Then the mom, I'm going to call those notes ahead of that event in South Africa. It's his first time testing international orders. The number feeding is destined for the ARC. I think because that couple, I think they're the first couple to win the ARC ever since its inception. We are so you know, I think even the boys should follow the same footsteps.
I do believe that's where they're headed. I mean, there is not really very much else in terms of experience. But a much higher level of competition. I know grassroots. So definitely driving out of Zambia is definitely worth it. Kati South Africa, South Africa, there's a little bit more competition. You know, on their national
there are over 50 entries in that event. In comparison to Zambia is that many.
Yeah, exactly.
And that Evo 10 was previously driven by the dad.
Yes, absolutely.
Yasoka mu Evo 9, kati nadda mu Evo 10.
Yeah, exactly. So nyoza chekeramu a very good opening also kulaba ekiri wabweru that is beyond Zambia. Kuba I do believe kati wali he's tamed the Zambian competition quite a bit, you know, because I think this year, if I'm not mistaken, he's won, I think either 2 events, if I'm not mistaken. Atenga, his mom actually also started co-driving him this year.
Yeah.
Ndozabafunamu his previous co-driver business commitments zagana nezeyongeramu nga tasobola. So as a family, nebasala nebagamba nti, well, maybe mom should step in.
Mama jagala ka cockpit ya kamusigala makatende twenetu yongera ARC nawe nti awanise naye kati olaba akomyewo okukwatira
komawo kuba honestly they have a gem within the family. Seth is a very big gem. Nze nyiza okubuulira we had a conversation before with Leroy. The first time Seth bwe yatula mu Evo X Leroy yagamba I can never sit in that car with him driving again. That was the first and last.
You were driving it.
Yes, the way the boy was driving, the commitment. Omanyi omuntu nga alina commitment nga tolabamu any fear. Nga yingire kona mu max nga wamugambye max. Leroy nagamba.
So someone was yafya banta agamba Yosef byakole yabikole ajwa no bebeta muweko. Kevin bebeto. Aba mu karting najje no mwe nako. Mwana asunaji wano bano babobo. Bali omwana bali baso okujja ne wawo and they give him a run for his money.
Yeah, give or take. I mean, chiba a little bit difficult to judge because chiba kizibu cha kujudging if they've not been on the same playground, you know. But
and the fact that even the Superior cars, the N12 and the Evo X, more or less, if you compare.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Evo X is what the last Evo X manufactured was 2015. N12 we're looking at 2006. 2006 you know, exactly. But regardless, you can actually see in the ability of driving. But only at times against his dad, but only at times against his uncles. Especially events Muna Singh Junior Wavuze, because for me that would be the benchmark. Because if you actually look at everyone who is still competing in Zambia right now, Muna Singh Junior would be the epitome, you know. Then only that time Zingabuli stage Jakoze, the set is within less than 15 seconds. Ezimuna kumuna, ezimuna mukuwa no muku.
Wakala kuwa no basimakoloi. I was asking Simakoloi about the times are safe. Nanga man, that chap is different. It's a different ball game.
Yeah.
And okay, but of course we'll get back here next week. God willing, to Abuli Rally in but it's upon us from the 25th of this very month, this weekend. So definitely bring up to speed, Navy. Kale, away from that into the WRS over the weekend. I don't know which team Ibra does support. Which team do you support? From the way things Enoch unfolded over the weekend, lots and lots of talking points in that rally. One of those ones is the news broke prior to the event about Oliver Solberg going in for the P1 car in Toyota.
Yeah.
Of course, previously I've got the Hyundai and Nebamu said demoting into it. They thought that people made this bagament Charlie rush decision they're almost sending him into retirement for his own sake. If you look at the way the rally unfolded, lots of talking points in there. It's 100 Toyota yafunye it's 100th rather. There win with that dominance of Olivier Solberg, and he did dominate from the word go to till the tail end of the rally. And to me, it's a no-brainer. Someone can come. It was a one-off. Get about what the boy did. Of course, even the wind shadowed everything. I think there are other highlights to talk about. But Olivier Solberg took the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it was an opportunity like no other. When Arabia until this is going to happen was at the beginning of this, actually tail end of last year, when he switched from TalkSport and joined Print Sport. Because Print Sport, their main car is the Toyota Yaris, WRC2. Tenga bebali ye timu Sami Payare mwavugira the year when he won the WRC championship last year, you know. So kasaya kola switch eyo zenengamba ati wano wali wechi nene, there is something behind the scenes because it was a very very major move. Why? Kuba mu TalkSport Solberg yali development driver, you know, he was there top of the top. Ngawe bali nanga Andreas Mikkelsen back in the day, you know, kati Solberg yali taking over that position. I think if we look at it, if we're being honest, Solberg was way faster than Gus Greensmith. Solberg was way faster than Robert Vives. He was way faster than Zaldava from Paraguay, you know, because those are the big drivers that TalkSport had. So Solberg will call a decision, or the family doing that decision of coming from TalkSport to join Print Sport. In all honesty, his performance over the weekend in the WRC has not really surprised me so much. Why? One, he's very very talented. Solberg atani kuvuga Morocco zanga line miaka anga 10, you know. Of course, Kale started a lot younger than he was. Probably that's why Kale, in my opinion, has a better standing than Solberg does. Yatani kuvuga anga muto. That experience with Hyundai Yomo, for me, in my opinion, it did not go to waste. Why? The attitude of learning how you carry yourself at the topmost end of rally. Unfortunately, by the time we have an opportunity, twalimu era ya regulation as a kachuka, that was when they introduced the hybrid. And as we all know, that WRC as ardently as I do, Hyundai was the last car to come onto the table in that generational change. So,
in terms of development.
Yeah, in terms of development, you know. In fact, that's why they ended up losing their team principal at the time in Adamo, because he did not believe in the direction that the team had taken, and you know, so late in the game. So, for me,
they did underperform in that season.
Yeah, exactly. They did underperform in that season, and for me, it was understandable. They came to the table late. They did so much development within the season, you know. So. But Solberg getting that opportunity to learn, you know, how a top-end team works, and Zendaba chamongera ko chinene nyo. In as much as it was not successful, in as much as we actually did figure it out as chintu chebabu kiro bubukizi, but at the end of the day, here is my understanding. WRC right now, elina mu team satu. Mu team satu ezo, buli team elina emoroka satu ezi scoring towards the Manufacturers Championship. How many seats are those? That is 3, that is 9, plus 3, that is 12. Only 12 seats. Kakati newaba kishi. Owa newaba, waliwo sponsor wafe. Jona bade ku event. Waliwo omuntu yayingide ne bagamba welcome our sponsor. Jamukubulira. So, only 12 seats available in the whole World Rally Championship. Kakati kishi.
Those are 12 drivers.
Exactly. 12 drivers and 12 co-drivers. Yeah. Kakati baze manager we mabegao asobodde okogera ne team manager ne bakufunira ekifu. Oyinza okugamba gwe nga gwe nti nayo manyi siri ready. Of course you can't.
You can't.
Yes, you jump at that opportunity, you know, and I believe it was a good opportunity for Oliver to jump on. Nze ndaba awali obuzibu nti because of, you know, the connections I have made in rallying, I actually did end up finding out what the biggest problem Solberg had was in Hyundai. It was the father. There was so much pressure for Solberg to, Peter Solberg. There was so much pressure for him to perform at that level. The standard of which we all look at Oliver Solberg and we judge him is Kale Rwampera, because the gap in age is only 1 year, you know. So but it's not the same. Their track record of development is very, very different. Kale started driving when he was like, I don't know, six years,
yeah.
You know, 6 years old.
All of a sudden, a little bit later. There's a sort of a documentary about Kale Rwampera, garage tour, the way he started and where he is.
Yeah.
It's been a process of someone having where I know again.
Yeah, exactly. Ate bochuniramu echirala their development in Kale from the age of 6, he was being developed to drive in the World Rally Championship. Solberg, from the age of, I think, around 10, he was being developed to drive rallycross. Those are two absolutely different
things. By the time we have that change of mind.
Exactly. By the time we have that change of mind, because if you look at his career, we are Vugiranga, the two-wheel drive to try and get the rallying experience. At that point, Kale was so far in his development, you know. So now it was a case of what is the future of rallycross? And now by the time we get to the future of rallycross, this is 2014, this is 2015. And that he's so ingrained in rallycross. In fact, you can Solberg, after Solberg won those two championships in the World Rally Championships in rallycross, 2014 and 2015. By the time Oliver joined in the top flight of rallycross was around after 2016. All this time he's driving rallycross and doing
in comparison to Kale Yatani.
Exactly, in comparison to Kale who had been driving.
The issue of shaping someone into a driver, it's that when we were catching shaping Kevin Bebeto, where the family wants him to be,
yes,
into rallying.
Yes.
So can nurturing a motocross, after that infancy entry, Najamu karting, which gives him much more experience and no longer triggering a break because of the design of the track,
competitive spirit as well.
Then Najamu mainstream. So the times he's posting in mainstream competition.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised. Same thing. Okujakom driver ndoza yaina the same aspirations, but ndoza kuva once baite bachizimbe bachifuna late was Karan Patel. If they wanted him to be a WRC driver, ndoza how batch setting from the base.
Yeah,
batch realizing ndoza ngalimu. That's when of course, from driving the Subaru GC8, to the Evo 10, Feibe, then that's when he went to Ford.
Yeah.
Ate yaveno ngavuga the Evo 10, na tukeni mwaka R2. To him, younger, I thought it was a despite to me. But even never guy, Balibanti, Tonatuka, driving an Evo 10, a much superior car in comparison to Moka Jamuede, and still he didn't meet the test of time. Yeah, you know, Komayo can he lost that.
Yeah, absolutely. Olava, in Europe, there is a developmental platform for someone to come from a certain class to go to another class. And that's what IBRAHIM when we go to the side of karting, because it's like absolutely the same. Now, Europe in rallying, they follow that kind of trend. Until you start Rally 2, right now we are very lucky, now we have Rally 3. You start Rally 2, you go Rally 3, then you can start going, you know, not Rally 2, you start Rally 4, because Rally 4 you're two-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Then you go Rally 3, which is a four-wheel drive, but lesser power, then you go Rally 2. Yeah, exactly. Then you go Rally 2, which is an R5. They have the developmental process. You know, when I attended that seminar in the FIA in 2023, that was one of the things that they were trying to get us to understand, that there is a developmental process of developing to get to the level where Oliver Solberg is
someone
now.
is nurtured to be.
Exactly. Nurtured from a young age to be grassroots. One of the people I actually contacted and had a very long conversation with, that's why we're very good friends, is Leroy and Ushla Gomez. So when right now, I'm actually quite very proud. The conversation we had actually did pay off, you know. Nayenga, Oliver Solberg's performance this weekend, to me personally, was not very, very surprising. You know, he's been driving...
Maybe it didn't surprise many because, of course, he's dominated in WRC too. Very dominant in WRC too, even in the Safari, even other events.
Yes.
But Bari...
Nayenga.
Hyundai, and things didn't work out for him. He's testing the waters again. It's kind of moment maybe you didn't personally didn't expect him to pull up such a performance. Because of his history with the P1 Cup. Maybe Etagam is just come to finish. Kali is a bit timid because of the past. But here comes and does dominate.
Yeah, very true. I mean, it's not a secret. Hyundai was struggling that time. He had the opportunity, unfortunately, to drive a car. Not only he struggled, all the other drivers struggled. Neville struggled. Tanak struggled. So it was a bit of a tough learning curve for him in that period, working with a car that was still under almost infant development. But in the Wengamant, I'm not surprised. He joined a team that we know has the best car in the championship right now. And what are the discussions is always get a mass of international rally forum. One, his third position was absolutely amazing. And he took full advantage of it.
The most out of it.
Yes. Second, he had no pressure. Absolutely no pressure. He had nothing to lose.
Yeah,
he had nothing to lose.
Exactly.
Nouvelle, exactly. Three, recognizing Oliver has driven in Estonia before. So he had a lot of road knowledge. Kati bogate ebintu ebisatu ebyo. Then ekyokuna n'ogattako nti emmotoka Oliver gye yabadde avuga Estonia. That is Oje's car. The round before, you remember, when they were interviewing him, he talked about inner discussions did in Sebastian Oje. How do you set up the car? How do you do this? How do you do that? Kati kwegamba. Okugenda okutuula mu mmotoka nga he already has vast knowledge on what is going on. Kuwana labye, I think it was end of Saturday, he made a comment, when Datfish was interviewing him, Nagamba, I did not touch the car setup the whole weekend. What does that mean? Test after the conversation with Sebastian Oje, right into shakedown at the beginning of Estonia. No setup change.
So Oliver won 9 stages, Tanak won 5, Thierry 4, Moemo, Takamoto Emo, Karuvampede won the power stage. Finally. It was on and in that stage, Oliver came third. It was won by Karol Vampere. Rally leaders, rally, by the way, the first stage.
Yes.
But from the second stage up to the 20th stage, Rally fully comfortably. The rally was in terms of leadership. You were delayed by Oliver Solberg. From the second stage up to the 20th stage, I think he led the rally for 19 stages. I think since the season began, he has had the highest number of leads in terms of stages, in terms of the whole rally. Over the Mono stage, who is leading the rally? I remember his comment after Saturday again, with the power stage on Sunday. He couldn't believe what was transpiring in Estonia, and he's all going out on Sunday to enjoy himself, put icing on the cake. Then there was icing on the cake. He's winning the power stage, but he lost that power stage by 2.5 seconds to Karol Vampere. And to me, icing on the cake. There's the podium for the power stage. What more do you want in an event?
I mean,
but the situation here, Oliver Solberg. So I know what it means. Just to put icing on the cake. You guys won that. You guys won the whole rally. You won everything. And there was something. So that rally was won by worries for Evans. He had led the championship from the start. Up to is one now. But good the championship. Tanak 162. Evans 161. Where is it going this year? I just get a feeling Evans, he's not been there.
Yes.
Since Safari, by the way.
Absolutely.
Olaba, which was the third round on the championship.
Olaba, there is so much going on in terms of Buliomo Agamba. His third position has not been favoring him. It is the absolute truth. But if you remember from the history of the WRC people who watch very ardently, there was a year, I think 2015, 2013. Sebastian Oje led each and every single event, but one. That season, I think he only did two events in the whole season, from starting first on the road. Karol Vampere, when he became champion. Ate seba Toyota boka ne all the TGR fans are in TGRiosis. Aaron Nsamba, our sponsor, as one of them, Joe Buroa. But the thing is, the ability of Evans as a driver, in my opinion, is nowhere near Kale Rovampero in a good season, is nowhere near Oit Tanak when he's attacking, is nowhere near Thierry Neuville. Unfortunately, in the top cream of the drivers we have, in my opinion, Evans is at the bottom. Evans does not have that killer instinct. Instinct emugamba anti nino kugenda that extra mile and then one. Why do I say so? Championship year 2020 Ojeji Wangula, near 2021. Those were absolutely destined to be Evans.
Yeah.
Bagen okuyingira event
last year.
Last year by the way.
Yeah,
you know, if Evans had kept right there, he would have won that championship. You know, na ye.
In fact, Thierry I'm leapfrogging.
Exactly. Kakati, when I go from the history of 2020 of Evans being at the forefront, Toyota Gamba, we are giving you 110% backing, but he still fails. Same thing with last year, he still failed because last year Kale took a season off. The Bagamba Evans is our front man. He was not able to do it. We have come into this season, Kale is back. The Okuva Kale Oyada, we know he's been suffering with the tires, except one rally, the Canaries. Actually, I think you're comparing Solberg's performance in Estonia. Because I think in Canaries, Kale, I think almost won everything that weekend. Led the rally from the beginning to
Solberg
won,
the difference between him and Tanak, the seconds are really more 0.2 microseconds. Very, very dominant. It was Solberg, Tanak, Thierry, Kale, Fomo, Evans, Yabade, Wamka, Semipari, Yabade, Wams. Kale, next event is Finland. You definitely get back here to review that event as well as preview it in due course. We're going for a break, get back. The second round of the National Karting Championship is upon us. The launch is on Wednesday. We'll definitely bring you up to speed. We're going to go on a net winner on Mukuluano. Again, I want to believe she be now so far, but he has a package.
Ha! Nice. Can't wait.
Tell you what, it wasn't it. That means to say, can't come out. All right, we'll be back from that short commercial break. It's a Podium to be back every single Monday from 10 p.m. to midnight, where we preview and review everything in the world of motorsports. Keep your messages coming in. We'll definitely respond to them accordingly. I have one Atuhura. Was about the, how do we categorize the protos? Are they RF2s, RF5s, or RF3s, or what? That is the question. We'll definitely respond to that. Kale, shifting gears from the WRC, which was comfortable and fully won by Oliver Solberg, of course. Nechile Chamze Chakomeo is the first Swedish driver in 28 years of winning a WRC rally. And I tell you, was an ASMB leader,
2003.
So as a family.
So as a family. But switching gears from the WRC to F1, even Kubiakola Maori before, of course, the WRC event in Finland, we'll definitely keep you posted. But if Kubiakola Maori before we went in for the British Grand Prix was the leaving or the, I don't know,
sacking.
Only blanting. Okay, in Ibra's word, sacking of Christian Horner from Red Bull. I don't know. Ibra, first things first, how did you receive this news? And to me, it was a huge surprise. A number of undertones there. Is it because of the underperformance of Max's season, or is it because the Red Bulls are dominating? Then Ibra somewhere, nangamambo, wale balako hona, I want ne Toto Wolf. Our so I also looked into that story. So never first okubuze bitangaza bye byako nanga muli yabirabe How did you receive the news, Ibra? To me it was a huge surprise.
First and foremost, it was a shock to everyone. It was a shock in the world of Formula One. Because Horner has lived in Red Bull for 20 years. He's a backbone. He has been a backbone. However, Red Bull nga team had a lot of power dynamics, power fights inside. So in the first place, bali bachagalada. abatangaza ennyo munda tugamba it started with Josh, the father of Max. Balina be bali bagala, and of which Honor was not willing to take it that way since he was the team principal. And then Helmut Marko, omukuba deciders aba team nga naye alina kyayagala. Then ag'omunsondera ne gajja nti Christian was in line to to become a successor of Fred Vassar. So at the same time, in a period of time, 2024 twawulira nti no waliwo scandal between a lady staff, but they initiated an investigation. Investigation yeyo negwa butaka teyatuukirira because they didn't have concrete evidence. Again, never done initiating. So whichever the interview that they had with all team principals, after that fight between Josh, the father of Max, and it was an internal fight with Honor, Honor bamubuuza nti who is your next driver? If suddenly Max disappears or leaves Red Bull, and he directly said, my next driver is Oscar. Oscar is the next driver. Out of the blue, White House after the interview, nga Honor is hammered. So ideally, nga Red Bull nga team ebadde ne internal fights, a lot of internal fights. But at one side we appreciate Honor. Team yajija wala, team managed to secure a number of titles.
124 race wins. Under his leadership.
Yeah, under his leadership, 8 world championships.
Driver championships.
Yeah, world championships and constructors championships as long. So he has worked. Just we are waiting for the announce very soon. And so there's a single one to Gamba. He might genda kusaide ne yava ready mkamyofu bawaga naye at the same time bagamba he has been away from his family, and Alpine, the owner of Alpine, is his great friend. They worked together for some good time. So
yeah, when they were Red Bull still using Renault engines.
Exactly. So he might end up at one point going to the Alpine because a better home team. When he decides to go to Maranello, then he has again to relocate.
He has to go to Italy.
Yeah, he has to go to Italy.
One of the things I like about Honor, after the race, or even before the race, Grace where they were before the race, the way the interviews, the way he does respond to the journalists. It's very, very calm guy, very. I mean, this is someone when I race web sometimes just want to see the podium and leave. The post what of course there's a new design because of COVID. The interviews bali bazikwenda ku podium. Nekati race baya kagwa or take a pack for me and 1 2 3 we mnayogera. But after that it's the prize giving then the post event. So Honor is someone you would want to see or immediately Toto ye waberawo somehow ogamba why
Toto is a man of rule.
Toto is German. We need to remember he's German.
Point. I don't know how did you receive the news, and to me it was the right timing for Honor to leave.
Well, again, nga Ibrawa Gambia, Mauli Gali very shocking because in anyone on that grid, among every single team principal on that grid, Honor is the last person anyone who follows F1 would have figured would have been fired. Regardless of what he went through last year with a scandal, regardless of how the team has been performing since the beginning of the season. I mean, they still had spheres of brilliance every now and again. You know, Max would drive that car to a Grand Prix win, and everyone is like, "Hey, I say what?" You know, Niengera Ibranga we Gambia. The detriment of Honor started when Dimitrix died. Because Dimitrix was one of the owners of Red Bull, and he was largely on the same side with Honor. So
He
anything
invested.
Honor did in his 20-year existence in Red Bull had 110 support backing from Dimitrix. Dimitrix bwafa, what does that mean? Nti amanyi ga Honor mu Red Bull gali kati almost half. Kakakana. Kakati waliwa partners abalala nga basobola okuyisaawo kye baagala kuba Dimitrix teyaliwo okudefendinga Honor kyali ayagala. So I believe Honor's downfall started from there. Nti kati yalinanga, because ninawe nasomako nga wagamba nti there is nothing in Red Bull that Honor did not have an army. Buli kimu ndoza n'okugula ebika bya buscrews obusembayo obusiba front wing. Honor enough approving, you know, so much so nti even the direction that Red Bull was taking, now becoming engine manufacturers, Honor was absolutely engulfed in the whole process, you know. Kakati ne bagamba nti bali ku side ya Red Bull ate tebakyagala nnyo because they believed Honor had way too much power, you know. He had become okushiteka mu lulimi oyinza okubeera mu understandable, he had become a small god, you know, in quotes. So regardless of all these things happening in the background, it still comes as a little bit of a shock. Why? Because Red Bull was looking at going a bigger step of becoming engine manufacturers. Your project osobola jikwata n'ojikwasa muntu nga talina experience ya Honor, who has lived almost his entire life in a team, who has won 8 championships, you know, 4 with Sebastian Vettel and 4 with Max Verstappen recently, and all those guys winning constructors championships, another 8 of them. That is 16 titles altogether. You know, that experience level is absolutely vast. And about tunida ku grid jetwina right now in team principles. Amudaka probably might be okay. Amuliwa Guru definitely Toto Wolff, because Toto Wolff has, I think, more titles is one. And Honor is definitely second. But in longevity, in being in an F1 team, Honor has been there longer than anyone else on the grid, you know. So level of experience really. Ne wanko wade otumila bidobe nebi bade bigena maso mu background. Oyenza okugamba nti omuntu wagamba. He's shown us a lot of brilliance in 20 years. We might still be able to work out whatever is causing friction behind, but as long as he can still get us to wins, that is the man you want. But all of a sudden, the one guy we all think is not going anywhere, Zano is sacked. Era n'okwongera okutangaza ku Ibra kyagambye ekya Yost tata wa Max. Awo nawo waliwo ensonga nkulu nnyo kuba of course tetuyinza kumanya at the back of it all exactly what they were pushing for, because I think Max has one of the most bulletproof contracts on the grid of JK Hamilton. You know, there was a lot of longevity, there was a lot of flexibility in his contract. So simanyi buchava until they got a rift between Honor and Yost.
Chidayo kuchogambye nti Honor had the entire team powers in his hands. Ate the late had given him all the authority to deal with everything on the team. So one of the shareholders is in finances, and being the fact that Honor was controlling everything, yafunanga clashes. So besides the fight with Josh tumumanyi nga omusajja ow'omutima omugumu. Tata wa Max oyo musajja wa mutima mugumu nnyo.
Even when he used to race.
Yes, at any single day siyo omuntu gogenda okujja omale gatomera and you walk away with it.
The very many things one of the things I credit Honor for was that decision yakola mu 2016. It was a decision that changed the trajectory of Formula 1. Is done others even after that, and they have not paid off. The one where he did promote Max from Toro Rosso
straight into Red
Bull, na demoting a Kvyat.
Kati ate kibadde kijja abadde aleta Lindblad.
Lindblad naye kati the question was soon yatandika, and you, of course with the departure of Perez,
yes,
the question was who was going to partner
with Max.
Finally Lawson Najja.
Lawson Najja not working out very well. Yuki.
Even Yuki himself, give or take.
I think in my opinion, I think that was a political move.
Yeah, Yuki.
That was a political move, yeah, Yuki. I definitely, whatever.
There is a lot of money around Yuki.
There is
a lot of money around.
The promotion wasn't entirely on performance.
No.
It was about Yuki, other factors.
Exactly, because Yuki comes with other factors that have Japan.
Yes.
that have Japan. And
Yeah,
what
there
injuries
is
a
are
nation
now, you know, exactly. So that was a political move. That was a political
But
move.
what those are promoting Max from Toro Rosso to
It was the best
race that very first time now Angola Spain 2016 holding off. Of course that's the time the Hamilton Nico Vaina splashing the team Toto Matata Salawo who is finally we told the first lap.
Another political decision there.
Max now going ahead and won the race, holding off season Kimi Raikkonen for the bigger part of that race. But as in those everything begins and ends. Kati is Ngawe Gambi Ibranti. Honor is going to test water somewhere. Stephen is not going to retirement. Tagenda
because Honor has been a backbone of that team. So all these other teams in the competition, they need Honor.
And I think he has a stake in the team as well or something like that. He was not only team principal, he actually has a proper stake in the team.
That was almost
I expected that to happen because after the departure of Niue, Abalabangi by chief engineers, they have been departing. So meaning the team has been in a total mess. In my own opinion, Sikiris Ganyana Chakusakinga Honor oba kumujja ku bukulembeze bwa kutwala timu eyo in the middle of the season. The team is going to suffer. Ate twalabyeko Max Enyonyi yenge genda ku Ibize wabadde toto.
Away from that story, we together more. Of course, Ibra, what to take on McLaren this season? They are really dominant. I think it's if I might push it to the corner if you're to choose between Oscar and Lando. In terms of whom do you want to win the champions? Because in terms of the constructors, they are putting points on both of them. And Lando becoming a British driver. And his first time by the way, who race a waka. Of course, Hamilton had dominated in the 2014.
Yes.
Hamilton returned to form. Because he's home, he managed to become fourth. Race. But Lando Oscar did dominate that race, and Lando, in fact, they were exchanging leaderboard positions. Finally, Lando Nasgalayo and he won. But though, in terms of the pole position, it was Oscar Piastri who was on pole for that for that race. So
and then he was slapped with a 10-second penalty.
But still, with 10 seconds, he came second at the end of the race. I don't know what you've made of McLaren's performance this season.
Performance is good. McLaren has the car. They're in position of making it to the championship. I'm at the back of Oscar.
Why?
Because but Oscar has a unique character and handling pressure. Absolutely. When it comes to racing, and at the same time he has the pace, which is not with Lando. Lando has a little more experience. Amani has dealt with the car, but he doesn't have that little patience driver to lead the team. Era Zach Brown agenda kusanga obuzibu bunene nnyo naddala where we are heading to, because both of them are going to fight. You saw the race when Lando went into the back of Oscar. When we are finalizing everything, the race is done, and suddenly you get out of the race. So era tukisubire kyovula bakona yali agamba Oscar because of the clash yaliwo. I'm at the back of Oscar, and I believe for the remaining few races he will be going even more further.
And a couple of talking points this season is that podium for Nico Hülkenberg.
It was a very touching, emotional podium. I'm happy for him.
Now we can go as much as far as we can.
Every driver on the grid congratulated Nico. He has been patient. He has been dealing with a car that has no pace. So being the fact that twafunamu weather challenges, and then Red Bull waliyo obuzibu bungi. They built the car in the concept of Charles. Now here comes someone with space and experience and has been in a different brand. And they don't want to push him down, as he also doesn't want to go down. Kati, Hamilton has a lot of powers. They are trying to incorporate Hamilton in the car that they built for
around
Charles. That is why babadene clash, Adamina yabadene obuzibu n'okubondinga ne driver. Babadde radio exchanges zetuze tuwuliranga ezimu ziri even very bitter. Ninga tubasuubira 2026.
Mr. Bean ebongereza aliyo. Enoch, before that race, Hamilton had won 9, by the way.
Yes.
9 British Grand Prix.
Yes.
Very dominant since 2014 as well. What do you make of this season so far? And I do think, in your view, is it Lando? Is it Piastri?
Well, pretty.
Because both of them have showed pace and they're winning the races.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, very dominant season so far by McLaren. I mean, towards the tail end of last year, they managed, coming to the tail end of the regulation cycle, they managed to make use of the regulation to actually work for them. I want to agree with Ibra. Oscar's racecraft. Oscar has a lot better racecraft than Lando has. Oscar is more composed than Lando is. Simanyoba, it is a thing of, whatever, there is one thing that if you're a very ardent watcher of F1 from back in the day, there is some sort of pampering, some sort of privilege about drivers that come from the British drivers. And unfortunately, in my opinion, that has softened Lando quite too much, you know. He does not, whatever Evans, and incidentally, where does Evans come from? He's Welsh. That's from the UK. You know, exactly. With the exception of our Lewis Hamilton, every other driver that seems to stem from the UK has a certain, there is something about them that, you know, they don't give you that. They
have that. They don't give you that it
factor. It almost feels like a soft landing because even if you translate that to the world of karting, you know, the UK has the biggest karting championship and the most successful karting championship is in the UK. You know, so when I put the two together, Oscar and Lando, on a good day, you know, if at all the strategies are working for both of them, I do not think Lando can beat Oscar. Oscar has that edge. He has that it factor. He has that one aspect that Lando does not have. Jogama, he can be able to push a little bit further where Lando won't go. For example, there is that race that Hamilton won. I think it was either the Italian Grand Prix or something. Lando are leading a race from the beginning. And McLaren had the opportunity of having a tire strategy that would see them to the end to win that race. But guess what? They called the wrong strategy. Mercedes called the right strategy, and Hamilton was able to chase down Lando, I think with 5 laps to go or something. But to see the ability of Lando to actually, through the team radio, Kugamba team, Nedda, I want this, I'm down on the track, we need to switch tires.
That was the Hungarian Grand Prix. It had even rained by then.
Yeah, exactly. The race was dry, and then towards the tail end of the race, it rained. So they took an extra lap before changing the tires, and then Mercedes you know. So that thing for me is Katiecho Oscar Chalina, that it factor, he's able to read, he's able to assert a bit of authority.
You are right, and all the teams, Mercedes has a very good strategy. Mu championships along the years, ebisere bisinga bungi abantu ebadde hinga bahitinga along the tire change. Yeah.
Strategic calls,
yeah, the strategic call. Era kyechakuba Ferrari. This time round, Lewis was in position of killing Hülkenberg. Actually, it was a bit early to change for silk. When the track is not yet ready for silk. On turn 3, he went off. Now losing a second. Yeah.
All right, we're going for a break. We'll get back. We'll talk about the second round of the National Karting Championship. Ibra has something in stock for us in regards to karting, how the sport has evolved from the last time, and what can we pick from there as a country, given the fact that we even have the National Sports Act in terms of spreading the sport. And at the entry point, karting is one of those disciplines. So Tani Kanayo to develop the sport across the entire country. Let's get back after this short commercial break. All right, we'll be back from that short commercial break. We went to our last segment of today's show, the Podium show. We back every single Monday from 10 p.m. to midnight. We'll preview and review and everything in the world of motorsport. Time flies when you're having a good time of your life. Anyway, Nina Ibrahim KYALUZI ne ENOCH OLINGA Starboy. Today, yes, you take you through today's program on the 21st day of July 2025. The year is almost past the half mark of the year, and the sport is idusa because the next karting event is on 2nd August. The next round of the National Rally Championship on 22nd of August. August then you have September, not so much activity in there, but even before in August or in before NRC 5, you have ARC 4, yes, which is Burundi. Then the following week, ARC 5. August with the July, because it's so never gamba over the buduka. Time is the only constant thing in life. I mean, it has 60 seconds.
But today, starting with the September here races from karting to Fs to radicals to supercars. So every weekend there is something we need to get until February.
Good life, huh?
He's enjoying as well.
Good life, huh?
He's enjoying as well as
but there's a tubuzo kumukuru sponsor atunde mugundi. Wafuna opportunity. Good life?
Sponsor na kasoka ayiko kwa yeye aliko epitome already.
Atunde ya
kasoka ya tamukufuna na Ibra, we're getting into karting one, but how are things evolved in terms of sport generally?
First and foremost, njagala okwebaza abakulu abatwala omuzannyo gwa karting. Well, when they heard of me, they invited me to be part of them. We digested a number of things. I showed them the direction, and they are embracing what I brought on table. So together,
karting events, mutakawan. Mutakawan. We karting event mutaka. Ayga na chisusa. The practice. Mutaka.
Together kuzimba, because it is the only way to go. Karting is beyond just fun. A normal person who is like you, me, or any other one can go, and from just a mere briefing, nagenda navuga. At the same time, abali mu rallies, abali mu other racing, ogenda ino je warm up sizo, okolera training yo, because you will be going to Jinja, nenga atosobola ku training ira mu karting to keep you fit. So that is why it is just a point where all motorsports are picking something from. Regarding the National Karting Championship, it is organized round 2. I'll be the clerk of the course for that event, directing the event towards the international scene. An event yanjawulo nti scoring points zo scoring omwaka nga guweddeko nga entire season mugimazeko ya karting. Tulinayo the visit to Dubai, where people will be attending to the Saudi World Series. Egenda kubeera mu only abali waggulu awo. So as you come to fight for points, jangu nga wetegekera ekyo. At the same time, there is the arrive and drive in Malaysia. LYL, and still it is part of the package. So we are shifting from just having fun from the national side, and we want to push the drivers towards that direction of the international scene. When I was here, I saw some good talents. Through those good talents, netutula n'abakulu netugamba, why don't we try to push everything towards the world?
The international level.
Bingi ebigirimu subscription fee ya mitwala 3 ku booster kweri. Tujja kubeerayo LUBOWA. Everything is in good gears. I have inspected the track. The track is in good condition. I have directed the track management to make adjustments. In a few days to come, still tujja kuddayo to confirming if the adjustments we are done. We are going to inspect the carts to see that they are in good running condition. Kwegamba nsaba abantu bajje. The awarding of points, the rules governing and the regulations tugenda kweseza wali waggulu. Tuyinza okuba wano tunyumyamuko wali naye Enoch bw'ono ojja n'otomera omuntu n'omuggyako nankusirapinga 10 seconds penalty yo nga time zipushingira ddala wansi nga tulaba awangula olunaku.
Awo kakati Bukenya yayinza okwadvocating, omanyi mu advocating nnyo.
The sport gives you very many opportunities. Miraki ba hosting what they called an endurance race. The first of its kind. I was there and happened to have been a steward of that event, given a stewardship course and I did officiate that event with Alberto Fong, who was the head of the team. And the rest, of course, endurance was about you drive a single collapse and hinge does win, and the Simbarale team took the day. Very, very competitive team, by the way. Bromani, Kuku, Kakaba, family, they come all out. It's like an outing and they took the day. They they are more accustomed to the track. They put in a lot of them, because one of the things for you to improve on karting is the time you put on track.
On track, yes.
I was talking to one Vincent Mulindwa, Tabanwa told me, LUBOWA, I know the fastest time. I did 33 seconds. I know the fastest time on that track. Yeah, I call it 34. Neye unyowa 33 waduka. Because me yala banga duke. So you know ogenda ku boards. That time is there. So twagamba bagayi ba LUBOWA ntono ono ina time when wali jo training. Mutuyite tuje tukoleshe. This has almost spent a week trying to beat that time. Yeah, it's almost close yet always far away.
I get on fine tuning because normally what they are doing, they are just driving for fun. But karting has a lot of things to deal with, more so when you are hitting out on the track. The braking points, the acceleration points, and the apexes. So if you don't hit the correct apex, tosobola kukola ki kufuna time way. Oyinza n'okusindikira kola time way n'omugamba ddamu okole time yemu n'egaana.
Mugayo yagikoze yakagikola emirundi esatu naye waliwo guy yali ava e Namibia. Bali bazze wano for tour biki. So n'agendayo yasoka n'agendako ku Miraki nama n'agendako ne LUBOWA. Yakola 31.2. Akaya wa 31.2. Aida sana kuddamu kirizibwa ku lesinga.
No, actually with karting is something full of fun.
Ndeka wa 33 wetubuliza waita. Ne ate wa 31 point obanyi ndoza ye turuga aina okapanya tudebe transponder ku track.
No, normally it comes with also weight. The weight varies. I'm just 60 kilograms. Case you might be 80. So the time I will make, you will not make it.
But Katuna Gundi the same CCs.
Yes.
Katuga the same. Of course, that issue of, I think one of the things we need to do we need to go the we need to go the Formula 1 style. Guys are weighed before the race.
That is the direction we are taking.
After you see how many kgs someone lost.
Someone has lost
after the race. Enoch, karting is taking shape in the country and happen to have been produced out of the Kufana Yam, Koleo Congo. What do you know? It's a point where people can really showcase, and at the point is where you call. I'll give you a very vivid example. Kevin Bebeto is making good times because one of the things you learn from karting is left foot braking.
Yeah, absolutely. Omanyi twogera nnyo ku kintu kye bayita grassroots. And at the minute, karting right now is one of the best opportunities for grassroots to begin for omuntu okutegeera. First of all, okutegeera what is the competition environment like. Second of all, how do you drive, competitively? How do you get your mindset from just fun to get into a very competitive angle? Eranga Ebra wagambe. It most of the times abantu bagenda just for fun, but then it teaches you to get into that mode in as much as you're having fun. How do you relate the fun into a competitive side for you to get a lot more competitive? One, very, very accessible, where we have the tracks. Miraki Nabe, very accessible. Wali Bugolobi, almost just about next to the main road. LUBOWA, just about the same thing. I've not had the pleasure of going to LUBOWA just yet, but hopefully one of these days I should be able to go and see what the track is. Busika have been there quite a number of times. In my opinion, from what I have seen between Miraka and Busika, that Busika one is just it's unique
because of the distances.
Exactly. And and from conversations, with the karting department at the FIA, I think Busika, when we come closeness to the regulations, Busika would have a bit more leeway towards what the regulations is at the FIA international level. I don't know if everybody has had a chance of seeing.
I've not yet visited Busika. But I think before I travel again, I'll have to make my way to go and
it would be very good. It would be very good.
You never know. We are going to use a different setup. We will have to look for that joker lap or the fastest lap. So this time round, it is not as usual as they have been doing, just to go for a practice and quali and race one. So this time round we are going to run a different format. One, we will have a race briefing that everyone has to attend. You miss a race briefing, you start at the back of the grid.
Not with rallying. Drivers briefing, it
is mandatory. So every driver will have to attend that briefing. It is mandatory, because as we head toward the international championship, international guidelines, it is something that someone has to attend. So era najimi singango oli eyo subiro ojja kujja leti ojja kutandikira mabega ku grid noba okoze some good fastest time. Not to push people a little hard, but to train for what we are going for.
Looking at
going forward.
But one of the things that we need to talk about, as also get Enoch's input, is the cuts. I've seen people on track complaining about those cuts. Of course, there's a raffle. Not, you can't say this number is meant, because people know which cut is. But how do you mitigate that? Because now, at the end of the day, these cuts don't have the same. Okay, they live on the capacity, because people compete in the same lifeline.
You are right.
First and there was talk about people importing engines. Chassis.
Tugenda tuzimba nawo tujja kutuukawo. But first and foremost, what we need to agree all is that the cut will never be the same, even worldwide. What we can only do is to pull up to get closer to the standard, and the best driver will come up with everything. So twas inspecting Zeko, we are going to inspect again. We have agreed with the track owners to do a thorough maintenance for all the cuts. We are going to do the draws. You will arrive, gates will be open at 7, sign on will be at 8. So we'll have a sign on at the same time. We will do the raffles. Then we will have a track walk for the first time. Drivers will be accepted to go around the track to check how they will enter into the corners and exit. After the track walk, then we will go for a mandatory drivers safety briefing. The briefing is a little long, but it covers a number of things. It covers the entire regulation, it covers the track, it covers the do's and don'ts. So we don't want this time round to say that, you see, Kesh, we've given you a 5 seconds penalty for overspeeding in the park for me, and you say, for me, I didn't know. So we want to guide people towards that big picture of karting.
Well, if you look at African countries, as in karting, as its championship, it is so much. You talk about, of course, even Rwanda was into that as well, but not so much optimized as other countries. South Africa as well, Namibia in there as well, trying to, even the president or vice president or Africa in CA, it's so much into karting. Until we into our second season, since the inception last season, and you've seen the fruits of that. Keep talking about Kevin the better every now and then. But I think it's one of the things. It's for one to join. It's another cost of its own, because the time you put on, because you give the more hours you give in. What you call 6 time in rally. It's the same. It does replicate on times track.
Absolutely. I mean, Actually, example Jewelry Kugaba ya Kenya. Why do I mention Kenya? And just recently, I think either end of last month or beginning of this month, there was a competitor competing on World Championship for the cutting championship internationally, and I think he was doing decently well. And there was a volleyball free practice where he had, I think, either the second or third fastest time. You know, so cutting, it's growing. Ekula, of course, in countries Zoyogedeko, South Africa, Namibia, Mozambique, where Vice President Africa comes from, it's really, really very big. I remember, I think, beginning of last year, if I'm not mistaken, Valina General Cutting, Grand Cutting Championship, where they invited all African countries to have. I think we had about 3 or 4 entries from every country. Every country was to give in 4 entries, you know, to represent their country. So it was quite good. Unfortunately, we did not have, our slots went unused, you know, because the federation did not really have a platform to send, you know, cutting competitors. But when we told IBRAHIM round 2 again kubera unique. Again unique in that kutangaza what happens on the international level. And so that
you brace yourself in
exactly
case
so you exactly. So you brace yourself that in case at the end of the season you're the championship winner or you're second, or I don't know if it is the podium, you know, as and when people will know as they keep on competing, or until you get that opportunity of seeing what cutting is like at another level. So in my opinion, the Awombanchi Davanga a pioneer program to progress the the Uganda cutting national cutting championship to that level of saying we are trying to groom competitors who shall send to go and compete internationally. And I do believe there is a very, very big vacuum that we need to fill. Kenya has filled that vacuum. Even actually, just as we came on air, waliwo is a message in a group Jendiko, officials of WRC Safari Rally. Waliwo is a update here. One of the junior champions in Kenya that is going to do an autocross in the UK, you know, junior autocross in the UK, and he has roots from cutting as well. So there is a lot of opportunity through cutting. We just need to give it a lot more attention so that we can grow the sport. Let us encourage. You know, the whole fraternity has very many kids. Just as much as our parents on the MX side are investing so much for their kids to ride motorbikes, we can do the same for cutting, you know. MX then on some weekend when he has a break, no gama, yeah, maybe come and try and learn something new. Or no gama into yagala new MX no tagala bya pitchy. So we are take away a discipline to try and, you know, groom them. Cutting is the next best thing, you know. And Ngabo Gambi, and we shall always give the example of Kevin Bebeto. The platform of cutting has gotten him to where he's at right now in rallying, you know. Coming on board, driving a 2-wheel drive car to start and driving really, really very well in the autocross championship, and now being into the CRC championship, you know, driving an even more powerful car, his car handling, his competitive mind, you know. So cutting is a very, very good platform. We have a very huge resource in having Ibra, you know, he's our knowledge base, you know. So we need to try as much as possible to learn as much as we can from Ibra. No one why you get it kungeri jagalo running event ye. Chimpaddemu ko ku kalowoozo okugamba nti maybe as clerk of the course, actually Garuga clerk of the course the next Sunday for sprint 2. Badde ngamba nyoza nange omutindo gwa regulation ngenda guteeka wali waggulu. Waliwo ebintu ebimu bye tuyisaamu amaaso bye tutalina kuyisaamu maaso.
Then one of the things they think about Tanyam sprints, generalizing is the you have a start order, but because people you run this lane and this lane, running again or then you don't switch. Move out with the track. Then another pair comes in. And there, I think what Korea Fanama was the Yana Samotevi. There's a sprint MC in NASA had issues over the same issue. And he raises a point, even the organizers raise a point. So the penalty Jabam Kubab, Agate, Tiari, justifiable and everything. So I think one of the things you need to sort out that. Ibra, our time is fast spent, but let's talk about the cost of karting, because one of the things that is people see it as a logistical nightmare going onto these tracks or even practices. These guys put up these tracks for business, and you don't blame them because it can be a source of revenue. But as a competitor, the track not one dimension. For a basic cutting track is what's the distance? We have an extra Alida Ivana, so to
A good standard race track should be 1.2 kilometers.
What's the acreage for that?
So the acreage, if you have 5 acres of land, you can deal with it. You can do the dynamics. You can put a tunnel. You can put like 2 or 3 chicanes, and a main street of 800 meters.
The stretch.
On the stretch, yeah. So
800 meters in Zobanga. I think China, from the start, that longest stretch before the first corner. I think it's 800 meters.
Yeah.
Yes.
From the start.
Yeah, from the start before the first corner.
Before the first corner.
I think China and maybe, is it Las Vegas? No, Las Vegas is further within the Grand Prix. Yeah, they also have that really long stretch. Ojukila, where Carlos Sainz had the issue with the drainage cover. I think it was either last year or the year before, I don't remember. Yeah,
and just to add on that, you see these karts, more so for the 4 strokes, they generate more energy on a stretch. So you cannot feel how popping it is or how fast it can be on just a shorter gap.
a very short distance.
Before you think you are going to start to press harder the gas, then you need to brake. So the longer the stretch, the faster the kart can go. Yeah, those karts can.
Of the 2 tracks, I think LUBOWA slightly inako that's
gap
in compared to miracle akasimbula what you first corner, you have to
more
break.
technical.
So Gabe, it is 5 acres.
Yeah, 5 acres of land to Chikola. We can put one track with 15 layouts, different layouts.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
We can build up something chiri full package.
That means how much land do you need for a circuit?
Well,
A rallying circuit?
yeah, give or take.
Double one, okay.
Yeah.
With different dynamic, okay. Not the thing of starting, then whether we must have someone going under a tunnel or some how much land do you need?
Yeah, give or take almost just about the same acreage, depending on how brilliant you are in design. Ate ngabo manyi sports oligo na yogeddeko. Mumulito ate kabaka.
Then in
What's a manyoc ties that
in terms of design, by the way. Then in terms of abantu badda bali azamanyovulate. He's not been doing rally routes. I think routes is it. Then bampane ebintu biringana bimwe because of that. Then for motocross track, nalabe omito. Very simple track. It's just design something and you have.
Yeah, you see, motocross has more.
That means you need for you to have everything embedded in one place. Karting, a sprint, okay, rather a circuit for riding and motocross. Then same thing with enduro, quite same thing. Then autocross as well. You can have. How much acreage you need?
Give or take 10 to 12 acreage maybe.
10, 12, 15 depends on
20 acres.
Design. Yeah.
Just imagine 20
acres.
acres.
At most, because now we don't close
parking.
Parking.
So 20 acres.
Full court.
Exactly.
Yeah. So 20 acres. If you have one in east, one in central, one in south, one in western, one in things that we can do.
Tuba tugenze wala nnyo because in the region that is what is there. Abantu batambula. Tracks nyingi. So the more you go on different tracks, the more you receive good experiences, the more you go on to different layouts.
So you just keep changing. So one layout let me say this season, or half a season, then you change. If you have 4 events.
What we are looking at going forward, come 2026, one, we want to register a team. Again, okugenda mu endurances. Waliwo endurances eziri eye wabweru. Tugezaako building up. So we call upon people. Naddala abalali temusirika because kino ekintu kyammwe. Wano mufunawo skill ne mugitwala eri mu kusuna gear. Then those with passion for motorsport still nabo tubayita. This year nga bwe nagambye, we are looking at the Saudi World Series and the Arrive and Drive in Malaysia. But come 2026 tuinako that on the package tuinako the endurances.
We
will go for the 6 hours, 700 kilometers, 12 hours and 24 hours in the entire year.
You can have the same endurance first on such a design of 5 acres?
Yes, we do. We do. It is all about putting down the system and then the system will count.
system mark.
Yeah, but to go 700 kilometers, bajja kwetoloola 1.2 for 700 kilometers. That is approximately 14 hours of drive. And it is under the teams. So, but tufunayo aba Subaru ne baga nti twekozemu team ya abantu 8 tugenda zivuga ezo. Ne tufunayo aba Mitsubishi Evo, ne tufunayo aba Mark X. So it is more of fun.
Kwa Yamiraki endurance race there were 6, each team had 6 people, and then of course in different CCs, categories. Okutibalancing but bagenda abato then bamala ovuga then abako they join the track and finally the Simba won everything. So Enoch, our time we are the launch is on Wednesday. We'll definitely be there as for TV and 102.1 Fafam Private Seco, but the event is upon us on the 2nd of August, which is next weekend. Braja kuberayo abirenga directing an event here. Of course, F1 Club President Raymond Mugisha are trying to spearhead everything regarding the club. But you know, the last one, how do you reach such levels in terms of having such? Because it's the things which you get a feeling there. I've seen this at the end of following the FUFA General Assembly, 101st yearly Hoima hosted by Chita region. It is the family, the Rujumba family, our FUFA land, where the Hoima Stadium. In fact, in that assembly, it's which to me where the name of it was a request from them. I think the executive look into that. Then what one even Buganda Kingdom gave FUFA 40 acres when Ugazi after that roundabout. Police then on your right.
On the right.
There's area. I mean, you see, federations are doing, but
Just to imagine.
Yeah, see.
And what's 20 acres of land it's not a big ask.
Exactly. For me, it's a thing of one, we need to always think out of the box. Let us not remain confined into what we know. That I think is one of our biggest downfalls. Think out of the box. 2, let us invest in resource. We have a very big resource in Ibra. He's working there. He knows, he understands, he can teach. We need to invest in resource. We need to invest in capacity building, which becomes number 3. We need to train. Abantu balina okutegeera omuzannyo. Ate si abantu abali wabweru naffe abagulimu tulina okweyongera ogutegeera ennyo. Ekyokuna, attitude. Big thing. Tulina okukyusa endowooza yaffe. We are not rallying in the 1940s, we're not rallying in the 1950s. Tulimu era mpya, we're in a new generation, we are in 2025. Tulina okubeera accountable to our actions. We have to change our attitude and look at the future of the sport, which is my concluding point. Tutunulire omuzannyo in 5 years, in 10 years. Ebintu bino bisoboka. Naye tulina okukwatira wamu, tukwate oluguudo lumu, tutegerewe tulina okugenda. We build capacity towards what we need to achieve in 5 and 10 years to leave a legacy for Bebeto, for Bobo, for Ali Muhammad. We need to look at 5, 10 years. Nenga bisoboka.
Just okuyingira katono tulina engineer sponsor wali okuzimba arcade ya 6 billion. I build a racetrack. Money can flow in like nothing.
Absolutely.
Sente zisobola okuyika. No, I talk with experience. I've seen even the worst appearance looking tracks hosting only a single event, and they recover money that will sustain, pay all the staff for the entire year. Nga bakoze event yemu. Yes.
Kama na FIFA ikola FIFA in a World Cup. It happens once a year, every after 4 years. But the amount of money they make in that single tournament. Ziba mara okudamu okutambuza for another even no again it's a sport. If you look at the commercial angle of sport, it's one of the things. If you think of commercializing the sport, that is how best you can make proceeds out of it.
Absolutely.
Without commercializing the sport, sport becomes more and more expensive. All right, that's all we had for you.
Just all drivers who intend to join the round 2 of the National Karting Championship, there is a WhatsApp group for all the drivers. I was added there. I'm going to add all the information. Drivers musome information here mujitegere. On that very day, there will be no sorry. In motorsport, we don't have a sorry. If you go for anti-infringement, so putting the jokes aside, we need to be a little strict. So the information is going to be on the platforms. We intend to also set up some symposium for the drivers, at the same time the track team. Yes, name officials. Twagala tuzimbe ekintu nga tukiteekako ettofaali buli lunaku. Ettofaali buli lunaku. So whoever is there and intend to come and have fun, jangu to having a fun, tuyige. The rest format.
Chembuze chisembeyo. Wasala team oba oyambadde just wambers for the sake of this.
Team zonna nziwagira. Zonna nziwagira.
Omusajja wa Lupinyo. Okay, that's all we want for you. We'll get back next week. The way without of motorsport, we're out of here. Bye.
Garuga 27.